Have you ever looked at your partner and felt that something was different? The laughter that used to fill the room is gone, the warmth in your conversations has faded, and what once felt easy now feels like walking on eggshells. If you've ever had that quiet fear in your heart, wondering if your relationship is slowly falling apart, then stay with me, because this might be exactly what you need to hear right now. Today we are going to talk about 10 subtle but powerful signs that your relationship might be breaking down. And while these signs can be painful to recognize, being aware of them is the first step toward understanding what's really happening and whether it can be saved. In this video, I'm going to share with you a lot of information you probably didn't know before. Welcome, and grab your cup of tea. Let's get started. It usually starts slowly, not with a big argument or betrayal, but with silence. When communication begins to fade, the connection between two people weakens. You stop talking about how you really feel and start having surface-level conversations about work, about errands, about anything except what truly matters. The good mornings and I miss yous become rare, and the comfort of sharing your day turns into quiet distance. Communication is the heartbeat of love, and when it slows down, the relationship starts to lose its rhythm. And then there's trust. Once trust begins to fade, everything else trembles with it. You start doubting each other's intentions. You begin checking their phone, wondering where they are or why they're being distant. Even small secrets start to feel like betrayal. Trust doesn't just break overnight. It erodes slowly through half-truths, broken promises, and moments of dishonesty that chip away at the foundation of what you once believed was solid. As trust fades, emotional distance grows. You can be sitting right next to each other, yet feel miles apart. You notice that the person who used to comfort you when you were sad now barely notices your emotions. The hugs feel colder, the eye contact shorter, and the affection that once came naturally now feels forced. When emotional intimacy disappears, love begins to feel more like a memory than a reality. And sometimes, what replaces silence is constant conflict. You find yourself arguing over small things: who forgot to wash the dishes, who didn't reply fast enough, who's not paying attention. The truth is, those little arguments are rarely about the dishes or the texts. They're about deeper frustrations, unmet needs, and unspoken pain. When every conversation turns into a fight, it's a sign that you're no longer trying to understand each other, you're just trying to win. Physical and emotional closeness begin to fade too. You stop reaching for each other's hand, you stop cuddling on the couch, and you stop saying "I love you," not because you don't care, but because it suddenly feels awkward or unnecessary. Intimacy is not just about physical connection, it's about emotional safety. When that safety disappears, even being close feels uncomfortable. At this point, many couples start living separate lives, not in a dramatic breakup kind of way, but in a quiet, subtle one. You start making plans without each other, prioritizing work, friends, or hobbies instead of spending time together. It's not that you hate each other, it's that you've grown apart without noticing. The we turns back into me, and you start to realize that the person you used to share everything with has become more like a roommate than a partner. When patience disappears, it's another painful sign. Things that used to make you laugh now irritate you. Their small habits, the way they chew, talk, or leave things around, start to bother you more than they should. It's not really about those things, it's about emotional exhaustion. When love turns into frustration, even kindness begins to feel like a chore. One of the clearest signs that a relationship is falling apart is when you stop dreaming together. Remember when you used to talk about your future, where you'd live, the trips you'd take, the family you might build? When those conversations fade and neither of you talks about tomorrow, it means your connection is stuck in survival mode. You're no longer building something together, you're just trying to make it through each day without breaking it completely. And perhaps the most painful feeling of all is loneliness. Not the kind that comes from being alone, but the kind that comes from being unseen. You sit next to each other, but you don't really see each other anymore. You share the same space, but not the same energy. It's a deep, quiet kind of loneliness that no one else can fix. And when that happens, it's easy to start giving up emotionally. That's the final and perhaps most heartbreaking sign, when one or both of you stop trying. No more effort, no more conversations, no more attempts to fix what's broken. You stop arguing not because everything's fine, but because you no longer believe anything will change. It's the silent surrender, the moment when love fades not with a bang, but with a quiet acceptance that it's over. But here's the truth. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean your relationship is doomed. Awareness can be the first step toward healing. If you still care, talk about it. Open up, even if it's uncomfortable. Sometimes love doesn't die. It just needs to be reminded how to breathe again. Relationships can survive the storm if both people are willing to hold on and rebuild. But it starts with honesty, with yourself and with your partner. If you found yourself nodding through this video, take it as a gentle reminder, not a judgment. Love isn't perfect. It's work, patience, and a choice you make every day. The question is, are you both still willing to make that choice? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe for more deep and honest conversations about love, growth, and real human connection. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these signs do you think is the hardest to come back from? Let's talk about it.